Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wicked Crazy Pinfalls. We have an amazing special guest tonight. He is one of the guys that love wrestling, and he is also one of my favorite guys there because, he always has something to hit me up with and make me smile if I'm in a rough mood. Hey, Spenny, what up?
Dude, thank you for having me. It's great to see all of you guys. It's always nice when it's not like, hey, it's been a long time. I was on the 1 year anniversary show a couple of years ago, so it's nice to see you guys again after a short time. Not, hey, it's nice to see you guys after a while. You know what I mean? Thanks for having me, Throwback. I appreciate it.
Well, it was an honor to be on the quiz show you guys do. That was awesome. And then to be a part of the Among Us. Now I'm playing that constantly now.
Oh.
So it's one of those things that it's fun to do. But we got a lot of stuff to cover. We have a special announcement. We have an unveiling, and it's pretty big. So why don't we get started with the wrestling, and we'll take at least 15 minutes towards the tail end to talk about the rest. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. We've got Hell in the Cell coming up, and TakeOver was amazing. But I think Tuesday was the topper on it. So, I mean, what do you think about Joe coming back?
Always love to see Samoa Joe. I do like that they were able to say, like, look, if somebody touches you, like, you can get physical. Because to me, that hints at, like, they're hopeful that he can get cleared to do matches. And if it's first thing is with Adam Cole, like, that rules. Because I could very easily see Adam Cole going, dude, you're supposed to be an assistant GM. Why are you choking me out? And then you get something there. But I think it'll be a while before we get him in the ring. But again, I always love seeing Joe.
Cole would be perfect for that. Just based off that, after a Great American Match, if Joe could be cleared by, say, the TakeOver at SummerSlam, which is rumored, if Joe could do match from here and there, right now Cole would be perfect. And then maybe down the line, Cross.
I just wonder though, because it makes me wonder, like, if they had thought, and I hate to even like suggest this, but if they had thought that if there was a possibility of Joe getting cleared, would they have released him in the first place? Because I mean, it makes you wonder, like, if they had thought, okay, Joe will probably be cleared in the next few months, like, why would you not hold on to him and then just wait? The fact that they released him in the first place makes me think that they thought, okay, he's never going to get cleared, which, considering what we've seen of WWE doctors and them saying that people are clear when they shouldn't have been, like Paige, or people that were not cleared that should have been, like Edge and Christian and Daniel Bryan, I don't know, like if WWE that was thinking, well, he's not gonna be cleared to go. I don't know. Like, I would have think if I was Joe, I would have been like, okay, is there someplace else that will clear me? Are there non-WWE doctors that would clear me?
Yeah, I can only ever begin because I never, number one, like speculating, I guess, on the medical end, because shit, I'm no scientist, for lack of a better way to put it. I'm no doctor. I'm nobody who can do basic math on a whim, which sort of speaks to my expertise on this sort of stuff. But as far as it goes with any of those situations, whether it be Bryan or Edge or Paige or obviously Samoa Joe now, it's such a cop-out answer, but I feel like for me it's the right answer, is they're always changing situations, right? So again, not knowing what the expertise is going to it. But when Daniel Bryan isn't cleared, whether or not we as fans think he should be cleared at the time or not, he wasn't cleared, I would have to assume, by WWE doctors for the right reasons, quote unquote. They want to keep a guy who had recently become a father alive and safe. Now that he's lucky enough to be cleared, and Edge, and again, Christian in those same breaths, it's awesome. And if 10 years from now, 5 years from now, hell, tomorrow, if WWE doctors were to say Paige is cleared, we have validated that her medically necessary injuries have been taken care of, whatever. Mm-hmm. I trust them more than I trust my opinion on that. You know what I mean? If Samoa Joe, if he was released, because I do agree there that if WWE had thought that he'd be cleared sooner rather than later, they would have kept him.
Yeah.
My only assumption is that he would have had those conversations elsewhere because the guy's not only a great professional wrestler, talker, commentator, everything. The dude's a great businessman. And I would have to assume he had those conversations. And again, speculation only. Maybe they didn't go as well as potentially thought. And at the end of the day, AEW gets full credit for bringing salaries, at least in 2 promotions, to be at least equitable. But WWE, at the end of the day, is going to pay the most for the talent that they want. And if they wanted to bring back Samoa Joe as an authority figure, they would be able to pay him more than Ring of Honor or AEW or MLW or any of those promotions would be to bring him as an authority figure. Because if he's not cleared, then you're sort of brought back to that same equal playing field. And then it does come down to the money, rightfully so. People talk about the wrestling business. And as a journalist, I am making the least amount of money in the wrestling business. But it is still a wrestling business. And if that guy can make money doing what he loves or being involved in the business that he loves, cool. Like you guys have all said, if that guy's on my TV, I am going to light up like this every time he is, For
me, for when that whole section of the promo where Regal was talking about possibly leaving NXT, the whole thing about that got me was Joe walking up and says, I gave you hell as freaking much, but I respect you. And he's like, and then the whole tables turn. Now, a lot of people forget about this and that Joe in this instance being back, but if you take his release out of the context of everything, he's playing the Austin role with Bischoff. And a lot of people don't forget it because the line with him being co-GM back in those days is that the only way Austin could lay his hands on anyone if he was provoked.
Fair.
So I love that the whole thing, and he goes like TikTok young champion. That made me smile because that's like referencing, come on, push my buttons, which I like foreshadowing in wrestling. I don't know a lot of people, but that kind of foreshadows that if he gets cleared, let's say SummerSlam, the takeover before SummerSlam or some point down the line, it may be Survivor Series. That match will be one of those matches we talk about for a long time because the buildup is so long and it's so aggressive. He could just poke across the other time and say, hey, I can't touch you, but if you touch me, it's on.
Yeah. Samoa Joe could wrestle quite literally like a stump of wood, and I would be excited about it at this point. Like, by my money, it's hard to argue that guy is like one of the top 10 wrestlers of I would at least assume all of our generation. You know what I mean? Like that guy is incredible. He's incredible at every facet of professional wrestling.
Look at that Impact match that with Daniels and AJ. That just says enough.
What year does Samoa Joe?
Joe Kobashi.
What year does Samoa Joe? What year does Samoa Joe come? What year does Samoa Joe come into NXT? 2015.
So he came in. No, it was 2015 seems right.
If CM Punk never left, I would love to see CM Punk and Samoa Joe go at it because if you watch the Ring of Honor matches, those were incredible matches. Some of the best matches in wrestling ever.
Yeah, and
I think for me though, personally, for a Joe moment, and I say that because it's in my backyard. The moment that in that house show where Balor drops the title to Joe in Lowell, I get grief from this day from my friends to be like, you are a wrestling fan and you missed that. It's like it put that match itself put NXT in the situation to a higher stratosphere because it made you want to go to the house shows.
Yeah. Dude, a fun one for you is, so I was so sure, and I just checked it up there. So May 2015 was Joe's official NXT debut. Man. 2 months prior to that, or 3 months prior to that, a gentleman named Michael Richard Blaze, who, like, if you guys are looking for talented Canadian pro wrestlers, there's your starting point as far as I'm concerned. He wrestled Samoa Joe in his second last match on the independent scene before he went to NXT. So obviously, like, I've got the bias on that end because when you see somebody live, it changes your opinion, right? I'm excited as hell on this end. I'm excited as all hell.
For me, I like the fact that there's multiple. Now, for me, as a standpoint, like I like foreshadowing, but there's also multiple matchups you can have here. You could have Cross. He choked out Cole. So that could set up something like that. You could have O'Reilly versus Joe. You could have all these people. Hell, Grimes versus Joe. I mean, think about the whole thing.
Well, you kind of have like the same
If you had a heel
thing.
Grimes.
Well, you kind of have the same thing here that you had when Balor came back, where he's been gone long enough to where most of the rest of the NXT roster at his time has either been let go or matriculated up. The only really guys that are around, like, I don't even think Gargano and Ciampa weren't like, I don't even know, were they there when he was
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. Yeah,
I think so, because the
Okay.
the CWC was 2016, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
so,
And-
but like,
they were doing
NXT
DIY.
but-
like just
takeover.
you're,
but
NXT
so,
well, you're
take
bang
over
on, like
Toronto.
just starting to get into it.
Yeah, we take over Toronto for Survivor Series weekend is when they became the tag team champions. Samoa Joe was having the title match with Shinsuke, and that's where I believe he lost. We beat Shinsuke.
but
I'm
like
correct.
Beat
outside
Shinsuke
of
and they
those
played his
couple of-
old music.
Yeah.
like outside of those couple of guys, like the rest of the roster is people he hasn't had a chance to interact with. So like everyone is a fresh match. And Spencer, as far as the like, well, AEW can afford to pay him, but like everybody else, you're absolutely correct. But even for AEW, like if he can't get in the ring, are you going to really have another guy come in as commentary? Because
Yeah.
Paul White,
No.
Mark Henry, like if they could get in a time machine and go, hey, if we would have known that Joe was coming, we probably wouldn't have signed Big Show. But you can't do that. Like you've got to kind of deal with
And you
what
make
you have
a good
here.
point. That makes a
And-
really good point. Just like I think
and
AEW to this point has done a good job of like, because I think they've done a good job of like avoiding that WWE bias. But were they to have signed Samoa Joe to a similar role to those two guys? I hate the phrase "jump the shark" because it seems too extreme for it. But I agree they maybe would have like tended the other way. I guess.
It also with Joe though, in the whole angle of everything, it makes sense. And I've read some reports. I don't know if they're true or not because I just read them and I just take them as is. That Hunter was very upset with his release. So it's interesting to see how much he has so much love for Joe. Plus, to me, Joe at now is kind of like a hybrid, like I said, a hybrid Austin. Like he can, if he's provoked, he could beat the crap out of people, and then he'd be like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I can't do anything because you forced me to do it."
Mm-hmm.
And part of this too, like when we look at like why did they release him just to bring him back? As much as this is like business, and Joe is very well aware of this, Joe's also a guy that has made it clear, like at this point, he's doing this because it's fun for him, and money's not an issue because he's taken care of his money throughout the years. So I could see this being a thing where he goes, I could be in this important role in NXT, or, you know, we don't know what the other options are, but I would imagine that if he came back to NXT, he's probably making less than what he was making on Raw. So as much as like you don't want to see a guy make less money, he still may have looked at it and said, this is going to be more creative. This is going to be less physical work. And maybe there wasn't tons of money out there.
They probably told him. They probably told him he'll wrestle from time to time, maybe like once every. When they feel he's clear, they probably told him he'll wrestle from time to time. Because why else would they let him get physical with Adam Cole?
But also the thing with me is that he doesn't have to travel. So with everybody going back to stadiums and stuff like that, as of right now, NXT does not have any announcements for shows happening. So a lot of those people are happy to stay where they are instead of having to travel, and they get to be around family and stuff. And especially with the vaccines and stuff like that. And I'll ask Spencer, what would you rather do as you're a wrestling talent? Travel all the time or be home with family where you could just go to work up the street?
Well, I think you're going to get kind of, if WWE handles this right, and if talent wants to do it this way, you could see that almost be a thing of like when someone gets tired of traveling, all right, go put them in NXT for a little bit and kind of switch it out. So that way you do have guys going like, all right, I liked being at home for a while. Going on the road was fun, but after 6 months of it, like I want to be home for a little bit. And then you can kind of do a rotation there. That would be
I think it's important to also like keep in mind that before the pandemic started, they were already trimming down house shows. Like they were already like they had canceled several house shows in the months before everything shut down, and they started and they started working out of the PC. So even if they start touring again, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go back to that whole thing of where, like, Peyton Royce on the first episode of her new podcast had said how it was hard for her because she would only be home for like 2 days a week to do her errands and do doctor's appointments and get all her laundry done and stuff, and be able to see her husband. I don't think that you're going to get a whole lot of talent who are going to be ready to jump back to that just being home for 2 days a week, especially if they've got family. Like Kofi Kingston is going to be having another baby. There's no way that he's going to be fine with just being home 2 days a week, especially when he's already got like 2 or 3 kids at home and his wife is having to take care of them all.
Well, why don't we let Spencer chime in, because I asked him first. So
That's true. That's
Hey,
true.
man, I'm the guest. I'm happy to sit and listen. Chat with good people. First and foremost, Tim, just saw your comment, man, and lots of love to you. You're a hell of a human being, and hop in the DMs if you need it, man. As far as it goes on the travel end, and again, I can only ever speculate as a guy who's ever taken one crack at one bump in my life. As far as the travel end that goes, well, I think, and I'm improvising a bit here, so excuse me where my points don't make sense, but a lot of people have talked about like a wrestling off season or something along those lines where, you know, you get your professional wrestlers with the opportunity to rest their body, spend time at home. Like the best comparison I've ever gotten was, you know, if the Super Bowl was your WrestleMania, then it would be like having a regular season football game, which is the Monday Night Raw after Mania the next night. Like pro wrestlers quite literally don't get any of that time on the road. So, or off the road, excuse me. And that might be where I've got the I guess, agreement that they do need that time. But from a lot of professional wrestlers that I've spoken to, it's something they enjoy is being on the road, having that opportunity to travel. And again, I'm only going off of my experience in speaking to people, but like you said, if they've got that opportunity where, okay, maybe you move to NXT for 2, 3, 4 months, and that's your time at home, and you're still wrestling once a week, and you're still on television, but you're still at home. That's something that they can maybe change up every 6 months at the draft. If they choose to make it every 3, 4 months, again, it's a lot of throwing ideas out there rather than any concrete plans. But I think maybe if you're trying to find that happy medium of getting people off the road versus still needing them on TV versus giving the off season versus not, maybe that move to NXT for a guy like I always go to Dolph Ziggler and Natalya, because they're the people that anytime you see an infographic about people who work the hell out of live shows, house shows, television shows, any shows, like they're quite literally 2 of the top 5 individuals to have worked the most WWE matches ever. So for me, if there's anybody who deserves more time at home, it's 2 individuals like that. And how cool would it be for 2 individuals like that who are very established, to use the buzzword for it, WWE talents, to go down to what is known as like the developmental brand. And like you guys say, work with the talents like a Cameron Grimes and a Dolph Ziggler's state, and an Ember Moon and a Shotzi Blackheart in Natalya's case, right? Like, again, it's spitballing a lot, but I think there's a lot of opportunity on that end for, it's a shitty cliche phrase, but like you get the best of all worlds out of something like that.
You got to remember also some of the guys, whether it's NXT or the main roster during the pandemic, some of them don't live in Florida.
True, and that's 100% true. But I also would like to think, and I'm assuming here, but traveling back and forth for a random state, say Virginia. If you're traveling back and forth from Virginia to Florida once a week to film NXT and go home versus travel from Virginia. And I don't know my states very well, so this is a terrible travel schedule. But if you're going to go from Virginia to Miami to somewhere in Rhode Island to somewhere in Albuquerque, like whatever, traveling to 4 or 5 different places is objectively more strenuous than traveling to one.
I think some of the wrestlers are adjusting to being located in one place. It's more definitely during the pandemic. I think it's harder for them to adjust to that because they're very used to being on the road. So that's why I think it's harder for them to adjust to being just in one place to do their job where you're used to traveling like 300 days a year.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
like,
But that's
they-
an adjustment anybody's had to make at this point. Like NXT is like quite literally the only exception as far as that goes. AEW is traveling before the pandemic,
NXT
and they're
used to do
strictly
tapings.
Daly's place, right?
NXT used to do tapings before it went live,
Yep.
so it was a little easier
well,
then.
and like the like for the traveling thing, like with it being 1 day a week, the Young Bucks have talked about that, how they live in California and flying across the country like once a week, and they've said like this is still better than being on the road 300 days a week or 300 days a year, not in a week. But as far as like the off season thing goes, they realistically shouldn't need a real off season, because like when you look at their roster, between all the brands that like a WWE has, they have like 250 rostered talent.
Oh yeah.
You have 4 shows. Rotate people on and off the shows. Like say, hey, you know what? Dolph Ziggler, for example, you just went on a 9-month run. You did a lot of matches. The crowd's kind of getting tired of you. Why don't we write you off where like there's some stip where, you know, and it doesn't need to be a loser can't ever come back because those are dumb. But like do something where it's like you can make it work, but like get an injury where now you're gone for a couple months. And
I agree.
They've done that with him too. Like remember when he won the U.S. title and then immediately like laid it down in the ring on the very next Smackdown. That was December, and then he came back in January in the Rumble in the number 30 spot, and people are going, "Well, what the heck?"
Well,
and
you can do it when
other
it's
times
stupid, but like.
See, but that's the thing, and that's where, and like I again don't want to ever critique because I've never booked a wrestling show, nonetheless the longest episodic running wrestling show in history. But like I think that they've done it often enough that I believe that they know that's an option. But I don't believe they do it often enough where I think that that's a viable option. You know what I mean? I think it's definitely something that I agree with, that should everybody on the WWE roster realistically get 2-3 months off a year? Yeah, because there's 250 to 300 individuals that are all, like every single person working for WWE is talented in some way, shape, or form. They can all fill a spot on television in some way, whether it's 2 minutes, 20 minutes, or 2 hours. Do I think it's really idealistic to expect that all 250 of them are going to get rotated through those 4 or 5 shows? No, I don't think it's realistic at all. And it's by no means like a discredit to anyone else, but like, when you realistically have to have someone like Bobby Lashley, your WWE champion, he should be on 2-3 segments a show, because that's where the important individuals should be. All over the show. Roman Reigns, same situation. But that is going to take time away from number 250, 249 through 241 on that roster, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like, but everybody, and I realistically agree that should there be 15 hours of programming for wrestling a week? Not particularly, but
when you have the roster, you can make it happen.
But you still aren't able to get all 250 people on those 15 hours of programming.
Especially 3 o'clock in the morning with watching New Japan and watching Wrestle Kingdom at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's even just talking WWE.
Yeah.
You throw talented pro wrestlers in the world into that situation. I'm sure each and every one of us being from at least, I would guess, 4 to 5 different independent scenes, can name 10 people who should be on television.
Yeah, Chaotic Wrestling, where Kofi and Sasha wrestle, is actually right in my backyard, so I get it. Actually, one of those things, if anybody gets a chance to watch Chaotic, they do have a Twitch. It's Chaotic Wrestling, but also look at their library on YouTube, because there's matches with Allison Kay versus Sasha Banks. Well, her ring name at the time was Mercedes KV, which is her real name with her the middle initial and her first letter. And you could see her doing like an I Quit match where she takes a camera cord and chokes her out with it. I mean, there's so much there. There's matches with Kofi there. Tommaso Ciampa's been in Chaotic. And that's what I like about all these wrestling promotions, because you never know. I mean, next thing you know, if Sasha was traveling, she could end up in Canada near Spencer, or, Tommaso ended up in New York or something like that. Just stuff like that.
But even on that end of things, like quite literally, and you can go back the umpteen podcasts I've ever been on. The first professional wrestling show I ever went to was in Edmonton, Alberta. It was the PWA 11th anniversary show. And one of the matches on the card, featuring talents that had regularly featured for the PWA, Veronica Vice versus, and going by their real names or their current names, Veronica Vice versus Taya Valkyrie versus Casey Spinelli versus Tennille Dashwood. And that's at an independent show in Edmonton, Alberta. So again, like you look at, and I say this in like, I love where I live. Edmonton, Alberta is essentially middle of nowhere as far as professional wrestling is sometimes concerned. And that's still the quality you're getting. And that's one match on an 8-match card that I could go back and forth on because it was damn good, right?
Well,
Calgary,
it's funny you mentioned
right?
some of those like nothing spots, because I actually was on Twitter today and I saw Brett Lauderdale was tweeting about like, hey, I need a list of like who's wrestled in all 50 states. And I was really surprised, not at like the tweet there, but the amount of people responding to him and talking about how like that's on their bucket list as a wrestler thing to wrestle in all 50 states. And then for those who don't know who Jordan Oliver is, please go look him up. He's real good. He's only like 25 years old. And he said that like next week he'll have wrestled in his like 26th state. And like that's a thing that he wants to get to. Like some of these guys like to travel just so that they can see all these places. Like wrestling in Alaska. You wouldn't think that that's going to be a big deal. But for someone to go, I've never wrestled there, I want to go do it. Like that's a cool thing that a lot of these guys don't get to do.
It's a bucket list too. For me, for example, I've never been out of the country, so it wouldn't be, it'd be fun to go to Toronto, and go see Aaron and Pearl, or go up towards Spencer's area, or even go to Iceland like I was supposed to this year. It's just, I want to go see, and hell, I'd even go to Bulgaria because of Maggie's mouth, freaking the way she's been recently. Oh my God. If you need to see something interesting, watch the prediction show.
Apparently, in the kitchen.
I've never heard someone say so many things in a show that literally caught somebody who is a quote unquote character in this tournament just lose his stuff. And there she is. Speaking
on
of the devil.
Freaking command. Yeah. We were talking about you just now. Welcome.
I think I heard my name.
I thought you were sleeping.
I'm gonna say this much, and because of the fact that Maggie was doing this to Pat on the prediction show. All hail the queen. Let me finish this. All hail the queen bee.
So, are you gonna win? Are you gonna win your prediction show against Patrick, Maggie?
What kind of question is that?
By the way, we've got all the participants in the tournament here, so we'll be announcing the full bracket in a second. And Maggie just had her prediction show. So you go check it out.
I heard you called me out on that.
Yes,
yeah, because you were watching. You're listening to Boy. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
I do not accept.
Oh boy, Spencer should see some of these conversations in the show chat.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let you guys go ahead and have your debates and arguments. I'm a big fan of everybody on the screen right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just play the love y'all card and let y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Have you tried peanut butter yet? It's delicious. It's legit one of my favorite things. Like you're gonna think I'm.
Do I have to take back this show for now? And
full honesty, I'm not joking. As a teacher, I have a jar of peanut butter in my room that I just eat out of.
Can we just talk back to wrestling instead of talking about peanut butter and breaking the fourth wall? Because I really don't want to piss Maggie off, as you guys were all day. Literally all in caps, and my phone kept going off at work every 10 minutes.
Violence today.
Hey Maggie, nice to see you.
So
we still get along great, right? Like,
I wasn't.
I'm not in trouble, right?
I wasn't doing it.
You're not in trouble. Don't worry.
I'm so happy to see you, Penny. Hi.
Oh, you give me cavities. You're so sweet.
Gosh.
But,
it's our show. We've taken control.
So, I mean, it's a great thing because of the fact that with Maggie here, we can actually do the special thing at the end because Maggie's match is this weekend. So that will make it easier too. And no, Maggie, it was not the white thing in the table that the picture I sent you. But anyways,
I literally showed the like.
I know that, but
arrows.
yeah, but it was a butter dish. But
A what?
A butter dish.
What the fuck is a butter dish?
A dish for butter.
Yeah.
It looked more like a crock pot to me, to be honest, like a little mini crock pot.
No, it's just
the thing she was pointing to looks like a little crock pot.
Wicked crazy food.
Yeah, the thing about we were talking about a food show a long time ago, and that didn't happen.
Oh, wait.
But no, that
we did one. We did one.
We did one, but not a series of them. Anyways, let me get this thing back on track, considering we have to talk about the bracket in about 10-15 minutes. Oh God. Look we bring Spencer and Maggie into this and everything goes crazy. This is awesome.
Ain't my fault. Don't blame me. Don't blame me.
It's my fault.
Hey, at least there's no thing about fruit roll-ups this time and all that stuff in that show. Oh God. So everything else in this week's been interesting with WWE. Obviously, nobody pays attention to Raw that much, but
they did this week.
Well, we paid attention to one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Alexa doing what she was doing was interesting, and her picking up the win. But
no,
what are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Backstage. We're talking about backstage.
I'm talking about I'm talking about somebody from Throwback's favorite brand popping up.
Yeah, the UK. I know Piper.
Nobody having a clue. You forgot about that, didn't you?
She crossed an ocean to get a win for somebody else. And she doesn't even get her name said.
Yeah. Honestly, I hope that they've changed Piper Niven's name to Eva Marie. And that Eva Marie actually won that match.
Did you hear what the rumor name was from Fightful?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, and I'm disappointed but not surprised.
And now there's people theorizing that at Money in the Bank, Piper Niven is gonna pull a James Ellsworth and grab the briefcase and drop it down to Eva, and Eva's gonna win the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's a real theory.
Here's the question I've got for everybody: Is Eva Marie the best heel in WWE?
Actually, right now, yes. And let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Fair enough. I'll let you go.
On the woman's side, yes. But it's going
I knew I would get a yes. I'm just here to
me,
but the going away heat, in terms of going away heat, yeah.
Let me finish because she left the way and came back the way she started. So I mean, think about it. Everybody hated her when she was all red and everything, and then all of a sudden she just it didn't work. It disappeared. So now she's coming back. She's giving all these vignettes saying she's, high class and all that stuff. And then she has Piper do her work. It's basically connecting the past to the present. Oh, my gear fell apart and all this stuff. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she would just get it towards a ring and then walk away. So
here's my prediction. I bet you she's going to come out on Monday and playing off all of the vignettes that she's done. She's going to talk about how she has inspired Piper Niven and she wants to take her to the next level. And that she, again, playing the protege role, she's here to inspire people, has been what the vignettes are all about for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I think that they're going to play that up heavy. Pardon me?
The optics looks bad in that way because there's a lot of people fat shaming Piper Niven, and when you put her up with Eva Marie, no disrespect.
Yeah, but you know what? I will say, and I completely agree that that's just bullshit, but on human beings, individuals. Yeah. And
but WWE is presenting that in that way, and
they haven't yet. I think they will, but they haven't.
I've got more faith. I wouldn't put them past it. I wouldn't put them past it. But I always go back on stuff like this. And again, I'm not someone who's really in a position to speak about the intricacies of stuff like this. Don't get me wrong. But one of my not favorite, but like one of the storylines that I think was like most motivational or whatever words you want to use for it. Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss leading into Mania 33, 34.
34.
I think was a really, really great story, and I think there were a lot of shitty detours on it, and I will give that caveat. But Nia Jax sort of overcoming her oppressor and her bully and all of those sorts of words for it was a really great story for me. And no one on this screen, I think, right now will debate that Piper Niven's an incredibly talented professional wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that there are a lot of, again, those same intricacies and same issues that would have to be overcome in a storyline like this. And I do again stress that like anybody out there body shaming anybody on Twitter is just a shitty person. I've got no other phrase on that end of things. But if at the end of all of this, and at the end of all of this, both Piper, Eva Marie, and anyone else who gets involved are comfortable with the way this goes, Piper Niven overcoming Eva Marie at SummerSlam, at Survivor Series, at whatever, if they play their cards right, that's a really great story. And I really, again, like, I've got a lot of hope, and I've been burned on that hope before with a lot of storylines, but I really hope the best for this one. And it's my Piper Niven bias 100%, but I really hope the best for this one because she's a star and she seems like a great person. And that's all you can hope out of a pro wrestler.
Okay, Anakin, you could go.
I was going to say, let Maggie get a word in too.
She can go.
Yes,
Yeah, Maggie, you have anything to say?
I don't agree at all.
Okay. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again.
with me, very quickly with me, when I see Piper Niven, I watched NXT UK when it first started, and she went up against Rhea Ripley. She stole up to Rhea Ripley. And then when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, they're ruining her already.
She did a really good one with Zelina at a Worlds Collide a couple years ago, too. It was very good.
I remember, and that triple threat match with Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm, that was incredible. And I'm like, no, don't do this to her.
So, Throwback asked the question: is Eva Marie the best heel in the business? And let me say this: if you mean it in the way in which we'll say, you know, Baron Corbin is the best heel in the business, then sure. The problem is
King Corbin
to me, that is the type of heat you don't want to have. That is we don't want to see you on the TV, the go away heat, the Xbox heat, as it used to be called.
It's been 1 week. She's been on television for 1 week. One week.
Yes, but true. But the fact of the matter
Eva
is,
hasn't.
What's that?
Eva has not been on TV.
And that's my point.
And that's where a lot of the heat comes from.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about specifically is with Eva. Because the fact of the matter is, right or wrong, and just to be clear, it's wrong. People shouldn't be doing this. But there are people who looked at the fact that they let the Iconics go and Mickie James go and have Eva Marie on the roster. And that's not a fair thing to do because Eva Marie
has been there for months.
Had nothing. Exactly. But she already kind of has that on her. Then there's the fact that you know, she didn't wrestle at all from the time she left WWE in 2016 to whatever you want to call that she did on Monday night. She didn't have one single match. Maybe she's improved in the ring. Maybe she's been working really hard at the PC. Maybe. And like, I'm still willing to give her the benefit of the doubt of one match. But the fact of the matter is that to me, with a lot of people, she has that kind of heat where people like, I don't want to see her on my TV. It's not the kind of heat that a heel should want where you want to see the heel get beaten. You want to see them get whooped all around that ring. And to me, I don't think that's the kind of heat that Eva Marie has. I think it's more just, I just don't want to see her on the TV.
Throw it to Maggie.
Go ahead,
Thank
Maggie.
you. I wasn't finished.
Yeah.
Maggie, you were only even started.
That's Aaron's fault.
It's
Throw it to Maggie.
3:30.
I'm genuine.
3:30.
Well, and I'm super interested because I am happy to be like proven wrong on shit. I'm happy to be wrong. Plus, you're smart and I like you. So Throw to Maggie. Shall I keep going?
Just mute everybody, Throwback. Let her talk.
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, so okay, first of all, I really do not agree that please get me out of please don't do this.
She doesn't want the Drew spot, okay? So just leave
No,
it be.
I don't want the Drew spot. I don't have a beard. I don't wear goofy glasses. I'm not a nerd. Don't give me the Drew treatment, please. So,
Excuse me, madam.
I mean the shades.
You did not have that ready to go. Oh,
Yeah, you did.
Gosh.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Throwback?
I ain't
That's
doing it.
me. That's me.
I thought you didn't know how to share stuff, you liar.
I know how to do overlays.
Yeah. Okay. So
Anyway,
I
Maggie.
don't think she's the best heel in the business. She was just like there for 1 week. She does have go away heat at the moment, including with me, but it may have something to do with the fact that I kind of think that they're gonna do the body shaming stuff, which okay. Penny said that if they're comfortable with it, it's fine, but it's not up to them to decide what the whole world is comfortable with seeing in 2021. This isn't a thing that should be on television. This isn't the 19th century anymore. This is the kind of thing that will work maybe in Bulgaria because we're a shitty country. We're homophobic. We're racist. We're body shaming bastards.
That happens here too, just so you know.
Yeah.
No.
No, I
You
get
guys
it.
have no idea. You guys have no idea how cringy it is here. And if people see this on television, it'll be, oh yeah, sure, she's fat. And I'm like, what?
And that's fair. That's completely fair.
This shouldn't be a thing in 2021. That's what I'm saying. This like what's happening? Like this is, and I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah, and
I'm
the thing is
really
that
not comfortable with it. This was against with the storyline Miro was involved over at Dynamite. But I really do not want to get into it because like
we've already had Maggie go off about Fruit Loops 2 weeks ago. We don't need Maggie to go off about something else.
No, but that's a fair point. Like, at least, again, on my end, like, I had sort of figured that if it's down to the two performers, then that's, like, not okay. That's not the right word for it, but you're bang on in that, like, if it is impacting other individuals, regardless of where it ends up, the journey there, I guess, is well, if the journey there is shitty, it's a shitty journey, you know?
Yeah, plus you guys have a Y chromosome, so how would you know?
Well, yeah.
That's
Fair point.
I think
probably
too
the
that
strongest point that could be made.
Yeah, we gotta
sometimes
go
like
back.
the other performers
Guys.
may feel like they're like pressured into agreeing to it, which is also something to keep in mind, especially like somebody like Piper Niven. She's been in the UK. She didn't even make it to like regular the NXT. She went from the least watched brand in WWE to now on what's supposed to be the flagship show in a main role. And it's one of the things where it's just like if she's handed something, she's not really in a position of power to turn it down, because otherwise, then what are they going to do? Okay, they're gonna send her back to the UK. So she's probably feeling pressure to do it too and make it work. So she'll say, "Yeah, I'm cool with it," when she might not be, but she's like, "Well, I need something to do."
This is total peer pressure, first of all. And second of all, I noticed because like tonight was one of the rare occasions I could actually watch NXT UK live, not on the next day. And I was constantly seeing tweets by WWE, not retweets from WWE, from NXT UK. Legit WWE tweets saying what's happening during NXT UK. So I'm like, oh, so you do know about this existence of your child.
All right.
Shocking.
I'm going to take the reins. So the announcement is that right now we have all 5 participants in the tournament. We have Maggie, who's going to go against Pat Mason, which I feel bad for Pat because I put a buzzsaw against a poodle. We have Anakin and Ray. We have the second highest percentage in the tournament so far, according to Tad's records, which is Aaron. And we have the perennial, one of the perennial main events besides Maggie, Spencer versus Pluggo, coming next month. So, with that being said, I'd like to announce the brackets as officially stated with Anakin's help. So, obviously, we already know that Ray and Anakin is going on. But like the next round, I'd like to announce the match where we will have the original, one of the original guys from the show from the beginning, Anakin JMT versus Ron Patel at War Games. This is going to be fun.
I'm sorry, at what?
Why is Darren
War
laughing his
Games.
ass off? What's happening?
Sorry, throwback. At what?
You need
to say it
Yeah,
right.
Drew's in there, and literally Drew was blocked for 5 minutes. We put him in timeout. Anyways,
Remember who has the controls.
yes.
Go ahead.
I didn't even notice because I'm looking at the thing. Go ahead.
So basically, right now we have this man going against Pluggo, and here's the match. We're gonna have it at Money at the Bank, and that's gonna be
it. Sucks so hard for you guys.
Steven Jensen versus one of Spenny's close friends, JPJ. We're gonna do that at Clash of Champions. Obviously, we've got the main event for this week. We've got Maggie and Pat Mason, which is going to be fun.
Poor Pat.
We have.
Oh, come on. We basically agreed on practically everything.
Yeah.
So
you did, not live.
We've got Drew's opponent, and I've already warned him multiple times about this. This guy does not like Drew as a character, does not care for Drew. But let's just say this much. He is watching Drew, and that person in Gaelic, you translate it, is the king of all worlds. He's coming for you, Drew. We'll see him at SummerSlam. Parrish versus Dennis Farrell. That will be interesting. This is going to be a shaker up because depending on if this is actually scheduled properly, we have the Distractions representative besides the other main event for the Distraction, JJ versus one of the co-founder members of this show, considering I can't be a part of it, your boy Rob Wilkins. And then the main event, if Pearl does agree to this, their match will happen at All Out. You've got Jeremy Lambert versus Joe Pearl for the opportunity to become the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls World Champion.
Wait a minute,
Also,
Pearl has not agreed yet?
He has not agreed. He's been called out multiple times. But
I'll
So
do
one
matches.
at Joel Pearl and call him a coward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will.
But also the fun part about this is that this tournament, you get mixing matches. You have the Bear versus the dirtiest heel in the community. We've got Tank Bear Claw, who's personally picked Tim Trevor as his opponent.
I love it. I love it.
And it's going to be at, I think it says Extreme Rules.
Yes.
My friend Kelly, who's a fan of the show, watches regular, checks out Love Wrestling, Fightful, and all this stuff, is going against Teresa, which is Big Kevin's wife. And Big Kev is going against my buddy Witsy, and that should be interesting. If these two are watching, they're friends of mine. Also, Angel and Sloan will be going at ADW's Fight for the Fallen. And now this is where it gets interesting. So me and Tad were talking about the idea of having 16 matches to break it all out. So I'm going to get all you guys' thoughts about the whole tournament bracket for the first round, and then we'll go into the next next setups. Ray has to set.
Basically, you're saying that with all these goddamn matches being so fucking long, you're saying that I'll get my title maybe next year.
you're going to get
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
It's a slow build with long-term storytelling.
Ray Callahan will be going against, and if hopefully he's watching, the Wrestling Stories, Mr. Gleen, who's a really good person, really good guy. And then Aaron's opponent is yet to be determined, because the way this is going to go for the last few spots is that whoever has the highest percentage as of going into the last 5 matches will have a second opportunity to get into the tournament and face one of these guys. So let's say a good example, Kelly loses to Teresa, but Kelly has a decent at once. She'll go against Aaron. But if Spencer, God forbid, loses against Pluggo, which we'll never hear the end of that,
it won't.
Spencer will be going against Aaron and have the opportunity. It's all going to be dependent on who has the highest percentage out of these out of 5 people.
No pressure, Spencer.
So
look, I'm just here to try my best and have fun. But at the end of the day, trying my best and having fun means I've won a lot of shit.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the first round being set up this way?
So I think as far as like the way like the loser thing goes, I do like that, like, not that I'm in it, but that I can like lose out of it. Not that I don't want to be in it, but like the fact that it's the losers who at least scored the highest, because then that part of the bracket gets built later. So you really like, it's a spot where, say someone nails a perfect card and the other person gets 9 out of 10 matches right. Like, that sucks that you got 9 out of 10 matches right and don't get the win, but you at least get another shot where, like, if someone gets every single match wrong, like, yeah, you suck. You don't deserve to be here. So I like it though. It's cool.
What do you think, Spencer, of the idea?
Honestly, man, like, I can only speak personally, but it's really nice to have a bye to the second round.
Okay. What about you, Maggie? What do you think about the idea of highest percentage, top 5 get a shot, get back in?
This is okay. We already kind of do it with our beer pong tournament in our bar, so it's okay.
All right.
It's fair. It's fair.
We knew that, right?
Scroll back up.
Yep.
All right. So a lot of the stuff we've got set up for the next round after these matches. Royal Rumble will be the next match. So whoever wins between Spencer Love against Pluggo and Steven Jensen's versus JPJ will be facing at Royal Rumble this year. Maggie,
whoever?
Yeah.
Sorry, whoever?
I'm just being politically. I'm being politically correct right now because obviously after this, with Spencer's permission, we are going to go raid. Me and him are going to go raid over and have Spencer go off on Pluggo, and I'm just going to sit there with the little thing. I'll show up in a minute. But the match that I'm looking forward to this weekend, and especially since Maggie's going to be on the Fightful watch, is that, you know, whoever faces this weekend's match, whoever wins, goes against either Drew or the King of All Worlds. And that match will be insane at SummerSlam. And I guarantee you this, that match will change the course of this tournament for the rest of the duration. If everything goes the way, I'm not being biased anymore. The guy literally is being asked to me recently. If the King of All Worlds wins this, it'll change everything. And then we have Bound for Glory coming up with the winner between Parrish and Dennis Farrell and JJ versus Rob. And then, you know, we keep going and we're figuring out the rest of them pay-per-views. But the main ones that everybody should pay attention to would be, you know, the semifinals, which is going to be, you know, Wrestle Kingdom's going to be a part of it and stuff like that. And then we're going to crown the champion at WrestleMania. We got Fastlane and we have Chamber too. So what do you guys think about how, I know Maggie's like, I'm not getting the title till Mania, but what do you guys think?
Her.
And,
yeah,
and Maggie, if you're going to be on the watch along for Fightful, promote this for us.
Oh, hell no. Wait a minute. First of all, they haven't even asked me yet.
Wait, Maggie only needs to promote her coronation as champion, guys.
use the watch along, Maggie, to call
What do I
Pearl
get from all
out.
this? What do I
What?
get from all this? I don't
I
need
didn't
to
ask
bribe
her.
anyone.
I never ask. I'm never gonna ask anybody to promote anything if
I'll
they're
tell you
doing.
what, Maggie.
Yeah,
a
I'll
watch
good
along
figure
on
and
out.
you.
stuff.
Good on you.
I'll tell you what, Maggie. If you use your time on the watch along to call Pearl out and have him
Yeah.
commit to facing Lambert, I'll send you fruit roll-ups. I'll figure out how to do it.
Do that.
I thought you were gonna make me
Pancakes and
pancakes in my own kitchen.
First of
With
all,
peanut butter.
those were waffles, not pancakes, and I have to be there. I don't know if you know this, but between the U.S. and Bulgaria is a little expensive.
No, it's not. I already looked it up because I want to
I
travel to
haven't
for a year.
noticed.
I don't have that kind of money. Not to mention, I'd have to get a hotel unless you want me staying at your place.
You have to be. You have to.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm gonna have to get a hotel. I'm just saying. I'm gonna have to get a hotel. So.
And on
I
that
live in an
note,
apartment with two bedrooms. What the hell is your problem?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
and on that note, so we commissioned a title
Oh my
belt. I kind of have to segue to this. This is kind of harsh. Oh
I agree.
God.
All I said was, unless we want me staying with you, I got to get a hotel. That's the way it would.
Yeah, I'm taking over this now because I'm telling you, Spencer, you should just see the group chat on this. This is how it goes real quick. It goes funny real quick.
I feel like we have a lot of the similar conversations there, my friend.
Ray's the one being the weirdo.
Oh yeah.
So let me finish. All right. So
Haven't
we
I
commissioned.
always?
Oh my god.
I
I'm hoping Maggie wins this tournament. I just want Maggie to win this tournament.
you kicked Ray. You kicked Ray off the screen because he's laughing so hard. Oh my god!
My face is already red from big sunburn. I think it just got another 3 shades.
Good thing I have
pulled
no.
myself out.
Good thing I have no liquid in my.
Oh man.
So let me
my
get
mouth.
this
Otherwise I'll probably
going
spit
because
out.
I need to get this because we're gonna end the show on a high note. And I want to first off, before I do this, I want to thank Maggie, Spencer, Anakin, Aaron, and especially like Ray. After the week you have, this is just hopefully cheers you up a bit.
I'm good. Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
I did this tournament mainly because of the fact that the community accepted me as a whole after everything that I've gone through. The show for itself is a tribute to my mom. Having Anakin, Maggie, and everybody on is something that I cherish every day. So what can I do as a content creator for one thing? Hit that part. Second, give something back to the community and have something competitive, because you see, like the Love Wrestling show, you guys have your own title. You guys are competitive with each other. Fightful has their own title. Wrestle Talk has their own title.
We really hate each other over at Love Wrestling. It's ironic, isn't it?
And then you have, the Jam That Championship that they circle around. But what would happen if there was an actual title belt that anyone in this community can actually win? We have that right now. For the first time ever in Wicked Crazy Pinfalls history, we do have a title. We do have a championship, and we are going for a tournament. I like to unveil. If you want to give me full screen, you can, Rick.
Sorry, I was taking my contact. Fell out. Yeah.
Get there faster!
The Wicked Crazy Pinfalls title is here. It is real.
Full screen them, Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hang on. There we go.
It is 100% real.
It's gorgeous.
It's wow. Okay.
So shiny.
That's awesome, man.
That's really, really shiny.
Yeah.
On these have a microphone, and because in honor of the first show ever on this, I know my mic's over here and you can hear me still, but Rob Wilkins created the first show is like thumbnail, and I asked him to, and he took 2 anime characters at the time that I absolutely like. So because in honor of the first show, we have Vegito on one, and we have Gogeta on the other. Because the first thumbnail on the show, for the first show, it had them 2 on it, and the line says a legendary character is incoming, based off of a game. I want to thank you guys for being patient. The 1-year show was amazing. I appreciate everybody's patience with this. This belt is a labor of love, and like I said, this is not a show belt. This is actually a competitive belt. The reason why it's called the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls World Title is because of the fact that this is my show, that I have amazing people on all the time to give you guys something to watch. But this title belt is my gift to you. Because let's say, for example, I have a seizure, something happens to me. I would expect Anakin and Rey to pick up the ball and let this show keep going. And this gift is my gift to the community, to have anyone, whether it's Spencer, Maggie, Anakin, Joe Pearl even, or even himself, Sean Ross Sapp, to hold the title and be proud of it.
Come on, someone you can't go. Someone stuff has inside. It has the inside, man. That's not fair.
No, but
he doesn't have the inside. He's not
in the tournament.
Know the ends of matches.
Oh.
That too.
He's not in the
tournament.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we're over a year away.
But I'm just saying, in general, if something happened, this title would keep going. And the thing about it is that I want this to be part of my legacy. I want this to be a part of the show's legacy and the community's legacy. Because literally, after something happens, whether something, God forbid, happens to me, if Spencer has the title at that point, and he keeps going and keeps defending it while Rey and Anakin take the ball with the show, it's okay. Yeah. But it's my gift to basically the community, and literally we'll have Rey put somebody in timeout. So go ahead.
I mean, he was putting the Universal title above your title. Like, that's not protecting the brand.
Yeah, that's
I will
true.
put you in timeout.
He's buried your title.
He said that his computers got hacked by somebody, and
it wasn't me.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that whoever did it for a right reason. So, but other than that,
are they listening?
Tell you what. You know what? Here you go. There. I put him in timeout.
Oh.
What? No.
Oh, see.
We're kind of proving his point, though. No.
Yeah.
But,
why? You
Maybe he shouldn't shit on the brand.
Don't you guys have any siblings?
I have 2.
And you learn nothing
to be a
about
professional
that.
wrestler.
Yes, I have 2 sisters.
But in short, like I was saying, I want to thank these guys here tonight, everybody who's been a past guest for the last year. This is my gift to the community, because God forbid if anything does happen to me, this will keep my legacy going for the rest of my life. And whether it's Maggie, whether it's Spencer, Anakin, Aaron, and even Rey, if anyone else is carrying this title with pride and dignity, it would make me completely happy and content. This is my gift to you guys. This is me doing it. What I always say at the end of every show, I do a good deed, pay it forward. We're going to end the night because, well, me and Spencer are going to go raid Pluggo's show and make him and JPJ cringe a little bit. Yeah. Why don't we start with the queen herself? Maggie, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me here. Like, I've written it down. And this Instagram one is with a dot and not an underscore. I literally every day try to make them both the same. but it seems like there's some cunt out there who's stealing one of them. Yeah.
All right. Let's go with Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
So, Maggie, I appreciate you. I also like that you started using the pointing gimmick. It's very well done. You can find me at Angry Beaver 1127. I do prediction shows for Impact, AEW, and WWE pay-per-views. So I'm going to be producing one for Hell in a Cell tomorrow. So give my YouTube channel a look for that. You can find it by going to my Twitter, which is at Angry Beaver 1127. It's always my pinned tweet. So go give it a like and follow me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, I'm gonna save save Spencer for last, considering the fact that I'm waiting for a promo out of a sudden. Aaron, go ahead, man.
So yeah, you can find me in my YouTube channel, Aaron Entertainment. I just did a video a stream today on pop culture. I talked about Loki episode 1 and 2. I did my E3 recap and some other stuff. I'm planning to do a Hell in a Cell preview stream, prediction stream. Hopefully there's more matches. I want to make it a little bit longer stream. And I'm planning to do a sports stream again, Why Without Sports, mainly focusing on why it's stupid to change the rule for pitchers during the middle of the season when they could have waited till the off season to do this. And this will just hurt labor relations even more.
Tyler Glass now.
All right, Anakin, do you think?
Yeah.
You can find me. I'm at Anakin JMT on Twitter. I'm also on the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord. We did a whole bunch of E3 live reactions on the Wicked Crazy Crew TV. I had this guy with me for all of them. We did Xbox, Capcom, and Nintendo, and then we also had Throwback on with us.
Let's keep that up.
Yeah,
I figured out how to do it. There we go.
Well, whatever. And
you think it's funny that it looks like somebody commented right underneath it too.
Oh, I want you to comment.
I'll take a look.
Oh, it
I'll
was
take a look at
him
it.
too.
Oh, okay.
But we did. Then we also did a show. Can I finish plugging my stuff?
Sorry, OC brother. My bad.
All right.
Go for it.
All right. We also did a overall recap show with Aaron and Throwback. That was on Tuesday night. You can find that there. Also, if you're a YouTube member over on Warren's channel, after his main show, I will be on his post show. We're going to talk about King of the Ring brackets and who we ultimately would want to win it. Spoiler alert: Xavier Woods is my pick to win it all.
And then for the guests today, and much gracious for you to come throughout this insanity tonight, as Maggie tries to give you a high five.
I got you. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
It's totally not
Wait,
creepy.
hold on. Can you make the other side of a heart?
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
This is not creepy at all.
Yeah,
I don't care. Let's get trying to get the wolf pack.
All right, Spencer, go ahead.
Give me a sec. I'm a little verklempt. That was beautiful. No, if you liked me here, you can find me there. It is at Spenny Love. You'll see it when the comments off the screen. But of course, do right by the people hopping in the comment section. If you want to find me elsewhere, though, there are a lot of great individuals, not just me, who's merely a good individual. Over at LoveWrestlingCA, you can find us pretty well anywhere that podcasts are played, videos are viewed, or articles are written at LoveWrestlingCA. It would be appreciated, but follow all of these fine folks. They're great individuals. We're promoting positivity in professional wrestling. Let's follow great individuals. There are 5 outside of me right here that you should support. So thank you for your support of me, but thank you, Throwback, for having me on, man. It's been great.
No problem. Really,
I kind of want to have Spenny for like to narrate my life, so we can like have.
Maggie woke up with a jump in her step and a smile on her face.
Never. It literally never happened.
Maggie woke up miserable, dreading the day of another bartending shift.
Oh my God.
She rose, disheartened, looking just sad at the thought of pouring another shot of Jack Daniels for 8 hours. I don't know. I tried. I'm usually really good at the first line. The second, I usually drop off pretty severely. I'm like a sequel. Shrek 2 wasn't as good as Shrek 1, right?
So go over to Love Wrestling right after this and go see what mayhem me and Spenny could actually create because, well, 2 of the participants in this tournament have not seen this belt. So why not just create some havoc and stuff? And hey, Spencer, do you want to promise me something? You cut a promo for your match, considering it's literally not that long from now.
Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I've got for a promo. It's not hard to promote when you know you're going to win.
Yeah.
I could talk about Pluggo being a great opponent. I could talk about Pluggo having a great mind for professional wrestling. But it's just hard to argue when someone's better at both of those things. And I think I am. I know I am. And at Money in the Bank, I will not only 1, 2, 3 Pluggo in the first round, but if he comes back after a great winning percentage, I'll 1, 2, 3 him again.
No, you didn't.
Well, the only thing I got left is check out the Wicked Crazy Crew TV where all these prediction shows are having. Go check out Fightful, their friends over here, and just have some fun and stuff. And by the way, don't follow Drew, considering the fact that we can't silence him anymore. But I know one person probably can.
You could on Twitch. On Twitch, you can.
No, I'm talking about having.
Why are you silencing him? No, Drew has to have his say. I'm going to defend the motherfucker as long as I can. Why are you silencing him? Like, make him like talk all he wants. I'm here. You don't need to put up with it.
Here's why. He is challenging the integrity of this very tournament because the very first match, he's like, no, that's not what really happened. Yes, it is. Like, I don't mean to get topical, but this is also
So
before we go off air, I'm going to ask Maggie this, and because of the fact that 3 of these people have had their matches now with Maggie, do you honestly think Tad is calling it straight down the line?
Yeah, of course, sure.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Aaron.
Integrity.
Also, he has a really nice voice.
He does. I'll give you that. That's true.
It's the Brits. The Brits always have a nice voice.
Oh yeah.
But other than that,
yeah.
go check out Love Wrestling right after this. We'll have some fun. Do a good deed, pay for it. God, man, at least we're catching towards the tail. Check out Sisters Custom Designs and stuff. But last thing I want to say is, Anakin, you belong in the kitchen. Have a good night, guys.
I'm good with that.